Mafia Magazine Radio.
Sam, what's going on, brother?
All right, what's good, baby? Hey, T, is that you, baby?
Yes, sir.
No doubt, man. Hold on for a second. Let me set you up real quick, all right?
All right.
For all my listeners out there, we got the opportunity right now to sit down with one of the West Coasters, man. Phenomenal promoters, producers. He's an author. He's a film writer. I can just go on and on and on, man. This is a truly phenomenal cat, and he goes by the name of TARVIS ALBERTY. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to sit down with this cat for a little bit, man. He's going to let us know how he getting down in his side of town. So, Trav, man, how they treat you these days, baby?
Pretty good. I can't complain. It's all positive, brother. You got to stay focused and positive in this industry. It's crazy, and we got to stay focused, brother, to push forward to get to what we want to get.
No doubt, no doubt. So tell us exactly, man, where you originally from, where you originally born and raised, and how long you actually been doing the things you've been doing.
Well, as far as my adolescent years, I spent most of my adolescent years right outside of Chicago in Rockford. So back and forth from Rockford to New York, lived in Minneapolis, the Twin Cities for quite a while.
Yeah.
Other places around the States, but right now I currently reside in Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay.
Came out here to get away from that cold weather, brother. I just got tired of shoveling that snow and falling on ice, you know what I mean?
No question, no doubt about that, man. So tell us, man, exactly, man, you know what I'm saying? What got you started in actually the craft that you do every day, man? What got you started, and give us a little insight on, man, maybe who inspired you or what inspired you to actually do the things that you do today?
Well, a lot of the inspiration came from actually a lot of conscious authors such as Ivan Van Sertima, such as Dr. Ben, Brother Phil Valentine, some of the Moore Science members, Sheikh Alim Bey. A lot of these brothers, with what they were putting out, the information inspired me to write and pay attention and tap into my inner source as far as the power that's already within us to start to produce some unique type of screenplays. As far as the Hollywood scene goes, I would say the Bill Dukes, of course, the John Singletons, Spike Lees, Antoine Fuqua's. Some of the work that these brothers were pushing out earlier also just inspired me to go on and push ahead with writing.
Right.
As far as my earliest start, I actually got started in the music business. I was a background dancer and actually a choreographer, background vocalist. I worked with the likes of Alexander O'Neal years ago. Did some stuff with a subsidiary of Paisley Park, working in conjunction with the man formerly known as Prince. Did some things with him, the Jets, the Black Flames, Houdini, Lisa Coke Jam.
Yeah.
I got started in the music industry first. But, the music industry is a beast.
Right.
So, you kind of got to be prepared for that. And it was a learning process.
Right.
And within that learning process, I tapped into starting to write songs. And eventually, I started doing screenplays. So that's kind of how I got my start.
Okay. So what was the first project that you actually worked on, man, that you felt that, was really something that made the world, sit up and recognize, you know what I'm saying, who TARVIS really was?
The first project would have been a tour with Alexander O'Neal. I think that was the first thing that really got it kicked off. And like I said, and then from there on, I kind of branched out in other directions. As far as the film industry, the first, I guess, major project would have been a film called The Kingdom that was filmed out here in Arizona, with Jamie Foxx and Jennifer Gardner. I actually was a stand-in for Jamie Foxx during one of the scenes at the restaurant scene in Maggio's. They shot right out of Scottsdale.
Okay. And
also got a chance to fill in as a background FBI agent. And that was kind of one of the things as far as the major projects. It kind of, catapulted everything else.
Right.
And I continue to go on with the screenplay.
Right.
And make connections.
Right. So give me a little insight. Tell me, was it a hard transition actually from the music game into the film industry, or did that kind of work for you hand in hand? I mean, I'm not trying to tell the story. I want you to tell it. So give us a little insight on how you felt about that, about the transitioning from one craft to the other.
Yeah, the transitioning was interesting because, of course, when you make a transition, it's still pretty much the entertainment industry overall.
Right.
But, the transition was interesting because, when you form your resume, you're going into something different and you only have a music resume to back you.
Right.
And you don't necessarily have a film industry, a film resume to back you. People kind of look at you with a wink eye, like, okay, you want to get in the film industry, but you ain't got a background.
Right.
So the interest, the transition was kind of interesting.
Right.
And you kind of have to, you're put in a situation where you have to prove yourself.
No doubt.
You constantly have to prove yourself. And that just kind of makes you work harder, and stay more focused on the direction you want to go.
Right.
So, the transition overall was interesting, But once people actually recognize that you have a talent or a skill, and you have to maintain humble. When people give you criticism, you got to take that, you got to analyze it, you got to see where you can get better, and continue to push forward. But the transition overall, it was very interesting, brother. Very interesting.
Right, I bet it was. And so what I'm hearing is, here's a question that's actually jumping up and down in my head right now. You've been around a lot of people. You've been around a lot of influences, man. You've seen how a lot of people work, how a lot of people get down. Is there any one person that you've actually been involved with or worked with, man, that's actually dropped a lot of jewels on you, man, to help you move forward in your quest to going to wherever you're trying to go? You know what I'm saying? There's always that one person, man, that seems to have some jewels that's truly needed when a cat is trying to find his way through this industry.
Yeah, I would say early on it was Ralph Tresvant.
Okay.
I ran into him in Boston years ago.
Okay.
And then ran into him again in Minneapolis when they were actually working on their reunion album.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a lot of musicians I ran into that was actually behind the scenes, were doing quite a few things. People don't understand, but man, some of the background musicians are really, really holding it down in the studio as far as other production aspects. And then, working with the likes of John Lennon, Houdini. I mean, it was the same thing, with them early on.
Right.
I mean, they were the ones who said, look, man, if you want to be involved in this, if you want to do this, then, you definitely got to have your heart and your mind in the right place, or else it's not going to work.
Right.
So I would say early on it was Ralph Tresvant. I mean, over the years, it's been a number of individuals that have, recently said, hey, if you want to do this, remember, you got to stay focused and push on. People tend to think that when somebody comes onto the scene, they drop a new album or they drop a new film. We tend to think, they ain't been around for long. But no, that's not the case. Some of these cats have been around for 20, 30 years at this, man.
Right.
And even some of the younger cats have been around since they were in their teens trying to do this.
Right.
So, I mean, longevity and determination, I mean, that's all a part of everything. People tend to think that because this cat just got a deal, that, he just came out of nowhere, he got lucky. No, that's not necessarily the case. Some of these people have been around for a very, very long time. You'd be surprised. Right,
absolutely. So give us a little insight, man, on because you seem to be well seasoned in a lot of different things in the craft that you've been doing up to this point. And so I want you to actually kind of speak to the people, man, about handling the business aspect of whatever you're doing in your craft. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, that's very important, and I'm quite sure you can probably tell a story a lot better than I can. So, give us a little insight on the business aspect of the craft that you do.
Once again, it's the entertainment business.
Right.
And it is 90% business, 10% entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
And to be straight up, we all see these artists, filmmakers, actors, and they garbage.
Right.
They can't act. They can't sing. They got zero talent. But you know why they make it?
Right.
Because they get their ass up at 6 o'clock and get to the studio on time.
No doubt. No question.
That's why they make it. Because they make it to the 3 a.m. Interviews and appointments.
Right.
That's why they make it. That's the business side of things.
Yeah.
They have the business aspect locked down.
Right.
Here in Phoenix, you've been out here for a minute. We got a whole lot of talent out here.
Right.
Man, it's crazy talent out here, brother.
Right.
But the problem is, they don't understand the business aspect.
Right.
You can't be late to meetings, late to rehearsals, late to the studio.
Right.
You cannot return calls and then expect to be in the overall decision-making process of your career.
Right. No question.
It's just not going to happen. People are going to start working with you immediately.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
So people really have to understand that. Understand the business aspect of things.
Right. Right.
When a producer tells you that's not going to work for you,
right,
you don't need to get an attitude.
Right.
Figure out how to make it work.
Right.
It takes communication. Okay, what do I need to do to make this shit work?
No doubt. You know what I'm
saying? That's what it's got to be.
Yeah.
Anything else is less than the business aspect, and you're not going to be successful.
Right.
You have to figure out how to make it work, what you're doing.
Right.
Some things you want to do, that may not be your niche.
Right.
And people got to understand that. You may not, you may want to be a great hip-hop artist, or a great actor, or a great writer.
Right.
But if somebody tells you, it's just garbage, you got to listen, and you got to make the proper adjustments to be successful. You got to figure out, okay, what am I good at?
No doubt.
Don't be afraid to take that corrective criticism, the constructive type of criticism.
Right.
Don't be afraid to do that, because there's other things you may be even greater at when somebody points it out to you.
Mm-hmm. No doubt about that. So, Tarvis, tell us, man, about, for those that don't know, you know what I'm saying, give us a little insight, man, on how you came into writing books and kind of, putting your craft down in another form, you know what I'm saying, about, when you writing your books and all that, and you did a story about a cat out of Vegas, and I'm not gonna tell the story. I want you to tell it, man. Just let us know, man, how that came about, how that project evolved, and tell us what it was all about.
Basically, check this out. I was doing an independent film called Prank.
Okay.
And I was having a lot of problems. It was in the can. We got it done. I was having a lot of problems with editors, man. And that's one thing. If you're going to do films, make sure you lock down an editor who's dedicated, because that's a big part of finishing your project.
Right.
And, you know, the editing aspect is huge. And I've been trying to find editors, a decent editor, man, for about 7 years to finish that project. So that's the longevity part. That's not giving up.
Wow.
Now, Prank, pretty much, there was a Mafia scene in there where there was some guys playing some mobsters. So basically, during the duration of the film, there was a gentleman that said, hey, you know, he was from Brooklyn, and I knew some of his people, and, you know, he knew my last name and kind of taught me who I was.
Right.
You know, Italian cat.
Right.
So I was like, okay, really?
Right.
So anyway, he was telling me he had a friend that had gotten out of prison recently, you know, and the guy was, you know, in his late 70s, and he said, hey, you know, this guy wants to do a book. You know, he has his whole life story on cassette tape. He wants to do a book. And you know what I'm saying, in the entertainment business, you always hear stories. People got stories, man. You know what I'm saying? They got stories.
Right. Everybody got a story.
You take it with a grain of salt, like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, you know, Mafia said, yeah, right.
No doubt.
So anyway, I decided, just out of loyalty,